heart of Nairobi, a digital revolution brews as the 2024 tax bill threatens to tighten its grip around Kenya's economy. A new generation takes to social media to amplify their disagreements. Gen Zs and millennials, fueled by a hunger for justice and a vision of a better future. This has spearheaded a nationwide protest against the government's tax policies. In this video, we dig into the 2024 Kenyan tax bill protest, starting from the Kenyan president, William Ruto, and his finance bill, how the protest started, the key issues driving the protest, how social media shaped the course of the protest, and finally, how the Kenyan president responded to the demands of the protesters. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, please do consider subscribing for more videos like this. If you have not watched the previous video about Zimbabwe's sanctions, I will leave a link in the description section so you can go check it out. Also, don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment. Who is William Arap Ruto? Born on December 21, 1966, William Ruto's political journey began with the Youth for KANU 92, which supported the late President Daniel Arap Moi during Kenya's first multi-party election in 1992. His early years were marked by affiliation with the Kenya African National Union, KANU. In 2007, Ruto co-founded the Orange Democratic Movement, ODM, with Raila Odinga, becoming a member of ODM's top organ known as the Pentagon. However, rift emerged and he fell out with Raila Odinga over the International Criminal Court ICC's trials related to the 2007-2008 post-election violence. The 2007-2008 post-election violence in Kenya was a significant and tragic event in the country's history. It occurred after the disputed presidential election results of December 2007, which declared incumbent President Mwai Kibaki the winner. Supporters of Raila Odinga, Kibaki's main opponent from the Orange Democratic Movement, alleged electoral manipulation, which was widely confirmed by international observers. The violence began with protest, but quickly escalated into ethnic clashes, particularly against the Kikuyu people, who were seen as supporters of Kibaki. Over 1,000 people were killed and up to 700,000 were displaced during the 2 months of unrest. The International Criminal Court (ICC) intervened to investigate and prosecute those responsible for crimes against humanity committed during this period. William Ruto and his co-defendants, Joshua Arap Sang and Henry Kiprono Kosgei, were charged with the following. William Ruto's charges: 3 crimes against humanity, murder, deportation, and forcible transfer of population and persecution, allegedly committed during the 2007-2008 post-election violence in Kenya. He was an MP for Eldoret North during the post-election violence. Joshua Arap Sang charges: 3 crimes against humanity, murder, deportation or forcible transfer of population, and persecution, allegedly committed during the 2007-2008 post-election violence in Kenya. He was a radio broadcaster during the post-election violence. Henry Kiprono Kosgei charges: 4 crimes against humanity, allegedly committed during the 2007-2008 post-election violence in Kenya. He was MP for Tinderet during the post-election violence. Chief Prosecutor Fatou Bensouda said Mr. Ruto had planned violence over an 18-month period prior to the 2007 elections, exploiting existing tension between his Kalenjin group and Mr. Kenyatta's Kikuyu group. Mr. Ruto used his power to procure weapons, secure funds, and coordinate the violence, Ms. Bensouda said. However, on the 5th of April 2016, Trial Chamber 5A decided by majority that the case against William Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang is to be terminated. The parties have not appealed the decision. The case also involved Henry Kiprono Kosgei, but judges declined to confirm the charges against Mr. Kosgei. In 2012, Mr. Ruto teamed up with Uhuru Kenyatta to form the Jubilee Alliance. Their partnership led to victory in the 2013 presidential election.
I therefore declare Uhuru Kenyatta the duly elected president of the Republic of Kenya,
with Ruto becoming Kenya's first elected deputy president. His tenure saw significant development in Kenya's diplomatic and business landscape. But something smells fishy. The ICC case was in 2011. However, in 2012, Mr. Ruto teamed up with Mr. Kenyatta, and in 2013, they won the presidential election with Mr. Ruto as the first deputy president. In 2016, the ICC case against William Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang was terminated without appeal. On the ICC website, there is a question and answer PDF document, which has questions that arose because of the termination of the case. On that document, the first question is, why was the case stopped? Answer: the case stopped because at the end of the case for the prosecution, the defense requested the chamber to terminate the case and acquit the accused on the basis that the evidence presented by the prosecution was weak. But then, the sixth question on the document is there a difference between terminating the case and not entering a judgment of acquittal? Answer: there is a difference, and it is legally significant. A judgment of acquittal means that an accused person has been found to be not guilty of the crimes charged against him or her. In many jurisdictions, including before the ICC, such a finding may prevent the future prosecution of the accused again for the same crimes. But in terminating the case against Mr. Ruto and Mr. Sang, it was made clear that they could be prosecuted afresh in the future, which could allegedly mean that they were given a deal by the West, especially Mr. Ruto.
Look, the ICC will terminate the case and we will make you president in 2022. But you will side with us in whatever thing we do or ask you to do.
Think about it though. After serving as the first elected deputy president of Kenya from 2013 to 2022, he became the fifth president of Kenya since 13 September 2022. Under Ruto's leadership, Kenya solidified its role as the region's diplomatic and business center, serving as an anchor state for the United States in East Africa. Despite domestic challenges, Ruto advocated for Africa on climate change and debt relief. Kenya's designation as a major non-NATO ally by the US further strengthened their ties. Remember when I said my brain was thinking funny things? Yeah, that. But let's move on though. Let's fast forward to 2024.
The Finance Bill.
Protests continue to rage in the Kenyan capital of Nairobi today as demonstrators express their outrage against proposed tax hikes. Police reportedly have used tear gas to disperse the groups in Kenya's capital.
Initially emerging as an outcry on social media platforms like TikTok,
we are not going anywhere. We are rejecting the finance bill.
And X, formerly Twitter, the movement grew into a physical protest on 18 June 2024, led largely by a predominantly young demographic and human rights activist. The protest spread nationwide on the 20th of June 2024 as police cracked down on demonstrators. On June 25, 2024, thousands of protesters stormed the Kenyan Parliament building in Nairobi in response to the passing of the Finance Bill 2024. Part of the Kenyan Parliament was set ablaze.
The struggle goes on and on, they say. Another protester, Rex Masai, died a week earlier from a live round, allegedly fired by the police.
The protests have been fueled by several key issues, resonating with the frustrations of citizens across the Kenyan nation.
Our lives are tough. People are struggling. People don't have places to stay. People don't have meals to eat. Families, fathers can't put food on their table. We need change in this country, and this finance bill is not going to bring that change. We don't want to carry debt. We want to change this. We want to change this country. We want you as the government to be accountable.
Let's look at the key issues driving the protest. 1. Tax proposals and economic burden. President William Ruto's administration tabled tax proposals in the annual budget legislation. These proposals have sparked outrage amongst Kenyans, especially salaried individuals, entrepreneurs, and consumers. Citizens argue that these tax measures go against Ruto's campaign promises to prioritize the poor, reduce taxes, and lower the cost of living. The burden of additional taxes has ignited widespread discontent. 2. Soaring living cost. The high cost of living has been a central concern. Kenyans struggle to make ends meet due to inflation, rising prices of essential goods, and economic challenges.
For majority of Kenyans, according to a survey by TIFA research firm, the report shows that the price of Kenya's staple food maize flour rose by 65% and sugar prices by more than 50% since August last year, pushing food prices beyond the reach of majority of Kenyans. According to the research conducted between the 23rd and the 30th of June 2023, a bigger percentage of Kenyans termed the increase of VAT on fuel from 8 to 16% as the worst provision within the Kenya Kwanza government's budget statement, with its implications trickling down to the common wananchi.
The protests serve as a collective outcry against the financial strain faced by ordinary citizens, particularly the youth who bear the brunt of these hardships. 3. Electoral malpractice allegations. The aftermath of the August 2022 elections continue to cast a shadow over Kenya. Allegations of electoral malpractice persist, eroding trust in the democratic process. Protesters demand accountability, transparency, and fair elections. They seek justice for perceived irregularities and a commitment to upholding domestic principles. 4. Social movements and impunity. Beyond specific issues, Kenyan protesters express broader grievances. Social movements have emerged fueled by anger over impunity for police repressions. The youth demand justice, accountability, and an end to systemic injustices. Urban centers as catalyst. Kenya's major urban centers, Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, and others have become explosive spaces for disagreements. The enlightened urban population drives a hard bargain with a state that they perceive as failing them. These cities serve as the backdrop for rallies, marches, and demonstrations where citizens converge to demand change and challenge the status quo. The street of Kenya pours with passion, echoing the hopes, frustration, and aspiration of a nation. Here is a summary of some of William Ruto's tax proposals. Taxes on basic items. There was a proposal to introduce a 16% sales tax on bread and a 25% duty on cooking oil. A planned increase in the tax on financial transactions. A new annual tax on vehicle ownership amounting to 2.5% of the value of the vehicle. Eco levy. The bill included a charge on products that contribute to waste and harm on the environment. Critics pointed out that this would increase the cost of essential items like sanitary pads. The government later suggested amendments limiting the levy to import products only. Tax on specialized hospitals. The finance bill introduced a 16% tax on goods and services used in the construction and equipping of specialized hospitals, with a minimum bed capacity of 50. Concerns have been raised about potential higher healthcare costs, higher import fees. The bill proposed increasing the rate of import taxes from 2.5% to 3% of the value of the item to be paid by the importers. This change comes just a year after the rate was reduced from 3.5% to 2.5%. Other measures. The excise duty rate on mobile money transfer fees is set to increase from 12.5% to 15%, affecting the cost of transferring money. The VAT rate on petroleum products is also expected to increase from 8% to 16%, impacting fuel cost.
Digital activism.
Social media has most definitely played a pivotal role in the protest in Kenya, acting as a powerful catalyst for mobilization, coordination, and amplification of voices.
This just in, the Gen Zs from Kenya are taking to the streets to fight for their rights.
Reject your bill, reject your bill, reject your bill. Aye.
This is a message to the Kenyan government. The one thing you have failed to realize about this generation is that we view things very differently.
I love Gen Zs. I really love them because they are fearless, they are expressive, and nothing is stopping in their way.
How do you tear gas a bird?
I'm here for Kenya, I'm here for my people, I'm here for your rights.
Let's look at how digital activism has shaped the cause of these protests. 1. Generation Z, Gen Z activism. Young Kenyans, particularly from Generation Z, that is people born roughly between the late 1990s and early 2010s, have been at the forefront of this movement.
We want to reject the finance bill, to be honest. And the problem is not about the taxing per se, but if you're not going to create jobs, you're not going to help us, how are you going to overtax us? And you're not providing us any avenue to earn money for you guys to take. We want to reject the bill until they can come up with a plan to save the country and for us to feel like we are actually being taken care of and being represented. We want to reject the bill.
Their digital skillfulness and social consciousness have fueled an organic grassroots movement that leverages social media platforms to organize and express opposition. 2. Mobilization and coordination. Platforms like TikTok and X, formerly Twitter, have been instrumental in sharing videos and information related to the controversial tax bill. Hashtags such as #OccupyParliament and #RejectFinanceBill 2024 trended on social media for several days, mobilizing support and maintaining momentum for the protest. Kenyans have used these platforms to educate wider audiences about the bill, explaining its implications in various Kenyan dialects. 3. AI and innovative strategies. Artificial intelligence AI has been harnessed to create images, songs, and videos that amplify the movement of messages to reach a wider audience. Successful crowdfunding campaigns through digital platforms allowed supporters to contribute money for transportation, enabling more people to join the protest in Nairobi's central business district. These unconventional tactics underscore the sophistication and reach of digital activism in Kenya.
How Mr. William Ruto responded.
Initially, he responded with defiance, ordering the military to be deployed and vowing not to tolerate violence and anarchy.
Today's events mark a critical turning point on how we respond to grave threats to our national security. I assure the nation that the government has mobilized all resources at the nation's disposal to ensure that a situation of this nature will not recur again at whatever cost.
However, following an extraordinary display of people power, he climbed down from his position and withdrew the bill. In an address to the nation, President Ruto announced that he will withdraw the finance bill containing controversial tax hikes. He acknowledged that it was clear Kenyans want nothing to do with the bill and stated, "I concede," declaring that he would not sign the bill into law.
Consequently, having reflected on the continuing conversation around the content of the Finance Bill 2024 and listening keenly to the people of Kenya who have said loudly that they want nothing to do with this Finance Bill 2024, I concede, and therefore I will not sign the 2024 finance bill, and it shall subsequently be withdrawn, and I have agreed with these members that becomes our collective position.
President Ruto further expressed his intention to engage in dialogue with the young people who were at the forefront of the protest. He argued that the proposed legislation was necessary to address Kenya's massive debt burden of over $80 billion. He believed the provisions would benefit farmers, students, and teachers. But despite all that and the withdrawal of the bill, protesters resumed demonstrations with the slogan, "Ruto must go," demanding for his resignation. President William Ruto responded to the trending hashtag Ruto must go, during a media roundtable. He stated that the hashtag does not bother him, since Kenyans have a constitutional right to keep his administration in check. Ruto emphasized that everybody is entitled to their opinion. Citizens are free to engage in discourse that they want to. Those are the fruits and signs of a democracy. The protest over the tax bill 2024 will remain a critical but impressive chapter in Kenya's political story, as it has issued in an innovative way to protest, with the screens of smartphones and laptops flickering with urgency, echoing the chants of protesters on the streets with the help of social media. Social media, which was once a virtual realm, but now shaping the destiny of a nation. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about the video. Also, don't forget to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. See you in the next one.